Hey everyone, welcome back to Javo's Garage. Today we're going to be changing out the engine oil filter adapter gasket where it mounts up here to the block on this Chrysler Town Country. And we're not going to waste any time, we're going to get right into this. So the first step you're going to want to do is take off your oil filter so you have easier access to get to the bolts that hold your adapter in place. And we'll just go ahead get this loosened up. Let that drain out a few. Hopefully it won't leak out too much. It's had a chance to sit, so if we're lucky, not too much oil came out there. So I'm going to let this drain out for a sec. We'll be right back. I'll show you where these bolts are and what we do next. Now that our oil filter's out of the way, there are 3 bolts that hold our adapter in place. You have one located over here on this side. You have one just up above your filter and below your sending unit, which is back here. And then you have one that's directly above your sending unit. Remove those 3 and your adapter will come out. Now that we have our adapter out, we need to get our gasket here off the back. We'll use a gasket scraper, clean this all up, clean up the surface here where it adapts to, and put our bolts back in. This job will be done. This one's quick and easy. Now that we have everything cleaned up, we're ready to put our gasket here on our adapter and install it back on the block. The nice thing is there's really only one way to install this gasket, so you're not going to be able to put it on incorrectly really, because you have the holes that line up, and this is the way it has to go. Now before I put these in, I want to show you, these are the 3 holes that your bolts were in. Now, if you notice, I have my 3 bolts here. I have 2 short ones and there's 1 longer one. Your short bolts go in here and here, and then your long bolt goes in over here. And if you kind of get a view from the side, and hopefully you can see this, you'll understand why. Your housing here is thicker, so this has your longer bolt. And then when your other bolts go is where your housing is thinner. So thin bolt, or I'm sorry, short bolt, longer bolt right here. So what we'll do is we just kind of set this in here like so. Take our first bolt, and it kind of just goes through and it holds the gasket and the bolt together. Just like that. And we are now ready to go install this on our block. Now that we have everything all cleaned up and our surfaces are all dry, we have our gasket on our filter. So we're on our adapter, sorry there. We're just gonna set it back up here in place and just start feeding the bolts in. And at this point, all we wanna do is just snug the bolts down to the surface, and then we'll come back through and we'll tighten these to spec. Just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down a little bit, and then we'll check back when it's time to tighten them to spec. Now, in the spirit of full disclosure, nowhere in my Haynes manual or anything I could find online specifically gave torque specs for these bolts for this van. What I did find were torque specs for a Jeep that also uses the same 3.8 liter motor, so I am going to go with those. And what it called for was 250 inch-pounds, and so what I did is I divided that by 12 to get foot-pounds, which came out to 20.8. And so I have my torque set to 21 foot-pounds, and I'm going to tighten these. I could not find anything in terms of pattern. I believe the smartest thing that's going to be here is going to be to start in the middle and then do your 2 outside bolts. So we're going to go ahead and tighten those down now. So we have our bolts tightened to spec. Now what we want to do is reconnect our wiring harness to our sending unit, and that just slides on. Don't forget to press that little red clip back down, that retaining clip back down into place. Now we're ready to put our filter back on. I've already gone ahead and re-lubricated my O-ring there, my seal on my oil filter. And I'll go ahead and put this on. I always just like to hand tighten my oil filters, and then I'll run it for a bit and see if it leaks. If it does, then I'll give it a little bit of a tweak, but too many people way over tighten these filters. So just like that, we're all set. Now, in this case, naturally, we lost some oil when we had to take this out. So I will be checking the fluid level, and then naturally, you're going to want to top that off with some fresh oil, and then let your van run for a bit. Make sure you don't have any leaks. So, hey, I hope this video has been really helpful for you. If you've learned something from this and it's helped you out a bit, please do me a favor and hit that like button for me. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please hit that subscribe button. Also, down below in the description, I'll put a link to your filter adapter gasket here so that you'll be able to get that, okay? Hey, thanks for watching, and I hope your project goes great.